Hey, what's up guys? Rob here, and I'm the Sci-Fi Horror Guy. Thank you very much for tuning in today. And welcome back to another Top 10 video. I love doing these. I am a Top 10 guy. It's kind of a response to Chucky doll, because he listed his top, I think, 15 zombie films. And I thought I would do my top 10 favorite zombie films. Now, I've done this before. You know, years ago, I actually listed my top 10, but my list has actually changed a lot. And I don't even remember what I listed them as, but I have a ton of honorable mentions here that I want to talk about before I get to my top 10. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video of my top 10 favorite zombie films. And if you want to do a response to this, please do. I'm not going to tag anybody. It's not a tag video, but if you want to do a response and tell me your favorite top 10 zombie films, please do so. Alright, on to the honorable mentions that didn't make my list. The first one is Quarantine 2 Terminal. I like this movie a lot better than the first Quarantine, and it's funny because I don't think many people have seen this movie. It came straight to DVD. And it's not shot found footage style. They get stuck in this terminal and there's zombies on the loose. Really good film. So I definitely recommend Quarantine 2. Of course, this needs no introduction. Wreck. The Wreck films are good. A lot better than Quarantine. Quarantine was just way too dark. You know, the first Quarantine. But yeah, Wreck. Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which is basically a horror comedy. I like that one. Now I'm going to hold this up, VHS 2. This has a segment, a zombie segment that is so awesome. And it comes from the perspective of the zombie, because he's wearing like a camera. There's a camera, what do you call that, GoPro. And you know, this guy's riding his bike and he gets bitten by a zombie in the woods and he turns into a zombie. And so he's walking in the first person and you get to see it like from his perspective, which was amazing. It was an amazing short. So if you haven't seen VHS 2, I think you guys should check that out. Here we have Brad Pitt in World War Z. My only real complaint about this movie is that sometimes the zombies looked cartoonish, especially when they're all running together and climbing up each other. It just looked way too, you know, the CGI was kind of terrible. Other than that, there is some real intense, really intense moments here. Lucio Fulci's Zombie, of course. And you got Zombie Holocaust. Gates of Hell, or City of the Living Dead. Couple I don't have up here with me. You got Zombieland, of course, and the second movie's coming out. You got Shaun of the Dead, a great horror comedy. Planet Terror, which is a really cool, gory film. Dead Snow, another one that's kind of different from other zombie flicks. And Battle of the Damned with Dolph Lundgren, where he battles both robots and zombies. There's this one part where Dolph Lundgren he's chained to a pole, like a telephone pole. Zombies are coming at him from all directions, and he's sitting there kicking the zombies. He's trying to get the zombies off of him while he's chained to this, and so he's sitting there kicking and he's trying to move, and that's kind of an intense situation. And Dolph Lundgren is awesome. But yeah, that's definitely a movie to check out. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, those are some of the films that didn't make the top 10 list. And a lot of these that I'm going to list here are just like, they're no-brainers. You know, some of them are just really popular. And I'm sure you can guess what my number one is. Those of you who know me probably already guessed it. But anyway, let's start with number 10 and go down to 1. Number 10... for me is The Return of the Living Dead 3. I love this movie. It's almost like a zombie love story in a way. It's very different from the others, and you know, what's her name, Mindy Clark, they get in an accident and she ends up dying, and so the boyfriend brings her to the lab with that trioxin stuff, brings her back to life, and she's not the same person. She basically is starting to get hungry for brains, and to cure the pain, because we learned that in the first movie about it hurts being dead, like the pain, you know, when they eat brains it makes the pain go away. Well, to cure her pain, she starts to you know, inject herself with needles and glass, and she just starts to look like that. And yeah, it's really this is probably the goriest Return of the Living Dead film out of the whole series, definitely, because there's some real gory stuff in here, but it's good stuff. I think this is criminally underrated, to be honest, when it comes to this series, and I think more people should check this out. But yeah, that's number 10, Return of the Living Dead 3. Coming in at number 9 is a movie that I was very, very impressed with when I first saw it, and I saw it in the theater, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's 2004, Dawn of the Dead, the remake by Zack Snyder. And I know people give Zack Snyder a lot of shit for his movies. He does some good stuff. And I love this movie because it was different from the 78 version. And I like how the mall was different. They didn't focus on the mall too much like they did in the original. The zombies actually ran after you, and they weren't the slow, dumb ones. So that was different. The characters were different. It was just like a whole new thing. And I love Andy, who's at that gun shop across the parking lot, and he's holding up signs, and they're trying to communicate back and forth. It's got some good special features. It's also got Andy's last days on camera. Really, really solid flick. I really, really enjoyed this one. So that's number 9. Number 8 is 28 Weeks Later. This is also a good one. Very intense in the first act, like right in the beginning. There's a whole chase scene where these the infected break into this village, and they start chasing this guy down the hill, which they show in the trailer. But they're chasing him down the hill. He gets to a boat, and they're yeah, it's intense. And this is actually pretty gory too. The scene where the guy turns into a zombie by kissing his wife who's infected, and then he like beats her to death and like starts biting her and puts his fingers in her eyes, and it's crazy stuff. Yeah, this one has Rose Byrne and Jeremy Renner in it. Idris Elba's in it too. But yeah, 28 Weeks Later. Alright, so number 7 is a film that I think even nowadays people are not liking it as much, and I don't understand. If it wasn't for this movie, we wouldn't have any of these damn movies. And it is the 1968 classic Night of the Living Dead. More and more people nowadays are saying like this movie is like not as good and doesn't hold up as good. I'm just like, really? Black and white, this movie's awesome. This movie started it all right here. I give this movie props, and I think it deserves a spot on my top 10 list because, like I said, this is where it started. I remember seeing this when I was really, really young, and we live by a cemetery. My backyard is literally a cemetery. There's just a fence right there. If that fence wasn't there, people could walk. If there was a zombie invasion or apocalypse, if that fence wasn't there, those things could just walk from the graveyard onto our property. My mom will not watch this because of that. She will not watch it because of the fact that we live right in front of this creepy ass cemetery. This movie holds up today, I still think. Even though I prefer the remake. I prefer the Tom Savini version, which is very, very faithful to this, even though there were some things changed. But I really like this film. So number 6 is 28 Days Later. I think it's a lot better than 28 Weeks. Danny Boyle directed this, got Cillian Murphy. You know, he wakes up in this hospital and he's walking around and there's nobody around. He meets this group of people and realize that people are infected, like the infected are coming after him. They do that one thing which is kind of a nod to Dawn of the Dead, where they go in this grocery store and they start getting food and putting it in the carts, and getting food to store in their car, which was kind of reminiscent to Dawn of the Dead when they're going shopping for food and stuff. That was really good. This movie's awesome. It's got a crazy twist at the end. The third act is nuts when they go to this compound. Yeah, really, really crazy stuff. Really good, too. Okay, so that was number 6. Number 5 is Train to Busan. This movie blew me away. I had no idea this movie was going to be intense. I mean, trying to say, the zombie outbreak, they're on a train and zombies are in this one car and they have to get to the next car because there's people, and so they plow through these zombies, and this guy, this one dude gets up like seat pads and stuff and tapes himself and starts punching and picking these zombies up, and just, this movie's intense as hell. They did a really good job, and I heard they're making another one, and I cannot wait to see it. This is awesome. If you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. It's one of the greats. That was number 5. Number 4, Return of the Living Dead. I've talked about this a lot, by Dan O'Bannon. Kind of like a horror comedy in a way, but the zombies in this are very different. They talk. The zombies use weapons. They run after you, and you cannot kill them by shooting them in the head. If you shoot them in the head, it doesn't matter. They're going to keep coming after you. You chop their head off, their head is still going to be moving, and their body's still going to come after you. You try burning them, all that stuff that's inside them, that tracks and stuff, is going to come down on, with rain or whatever, onto the graveyard, and here comes more zombies. It's just crazy. These zombies are almost annoying in a way. But, yeah, I love the movie. Coming in at number 3, of course, is the 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake, directed by Tom Savini. He did an amazing job here. It's very faithful to the original 1968, but they changed some things. For instance, Barbara in this is actually a strong woman character, and she's not always like screaming and running for her life like in the original, which is fine. I mean, that was a good change up. So it seems like you have 2 different movies. Do I prefer her to be a strong character rather than a weak character? Not really, because I mean, I think both versions have merit. I think they both do their jobs, and they're in in actuality, you get a different film. In this film, Barbara knows how to use a gun, and she becomes very, very strong-willed at the end. But you also got Tony Todd, which was awesome. But yeah, this is a very, very good remake. But I like it more, like I said, I like it more than the original. But I cannot forget about the original. The original, never forget the original. Okay, so number 2 is the classic film that came after one of probably the most popular zombie films, Day of the Dead, with Bug and Dr. Frankenstein, Joe Pilato. This movie, what can I say that hasn't already been said? It's got the claustrophobic aspect mixed with zombies. They go down in this underground area, this bunker, where they're doing experiments on zombies to try to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. So they have to grab specimens, and people end up dying doing that, and trying to figure stuff out. And there's this small army down there who's basically protecting these scientists and stuff. They get fed up, they have their own agenda, things go haywire in the third act, and it's great. I'd have to say that this has more gore than Dawn of the Dead. And probably one of the best kills for me. Well, there's a couple of good ones. Yeah, the guy, when they're pulling his head off, his voice changes, and yeah, just really, really cool. Captain Rhodes getting pulled apart. Just awesome stuff. Day of the Dead is amazing. And of course, my number one favorite, and you've probably already guessed it, it is the 1978 classic Dawn of the Dead. I love this movie ever since I first watched it. Now, this is the Ultimate Edition, and right here, as you can see, you get the US theatrical version, right? You get the extended version and the European version. Really, really awesome. I love this movie. I love the characters. I love the story. Because it's not just about zombies. It's about survival. It's about, you know, finding a place to survive in and securing that place. Not only for zombies, but for people. Because they find a mall and they secure it. They kill all the zombies inside. They lock all the doors, and they go outside and start to drive trucks up in front of the entrances so no one can get in, because they're afraid of looters. And they make the mall their home. I mean, that's always been a dream of mine. When there's not many malls anymore, especially around here, but when I used to go into a mall, like, I always, after watching this movie, I always thought to myself when I was in the mall, like, you know what if we had to stay here? Like, what would we do? Like, where would we go? Like, we'd have food, we'd have, you know, things to do inside this place, and we'd actually be secure from the weather, from the outside, if there was, you know, let's say there was a zombie outbreak or something. It really makes you think about that, and they did such a good job with the mall. They actually filmed in the mall, and it's great. I love the characters. I love the camaraderie between them, and the comedy that happens every so often, and the running back and forth, going between stores, getting supplies, building walls, you know, getting, you know, going, the one montage where they go to get food and, like, play video games and stuff like that. It's just really, really fun. I love the music to this movie. It's just all out. It's like a zombie masterpiece. This is like a zombie masterpiece, honestly. George Romero, you know, he outdid himself. This movie is just amazing. And I saw this at a very young age. That apartment scene that happens in the first act of this movie, where they raid that apartment and blow that guy's head off, and then that one dude bites, I don't know if it's his wife, he like bites her right here and takes a big chunk out of her shoulder. That part always, it was so real. It was so realistic. And like I said, I saw that when I was younger, and I just look at that and I'm just like, man, that really left a mark on me. But it's so well done. They don't make movies like this anymore. They don't. You have a zombie movie now. Let's just make the zombie off CG. Let's not even have a person dressed up in makeup. And if they do have a person dressed in makeup, they have like CG parts on their face so they don't have to add anything. Just do it like this. Take notes. They need to take notes. People need to take notes from this. Even some of the zombies in The Walking Dead suck. They look like shit. But anyway, this movie is amazing. It's my number one favorite zombie film of all time, and number one in my top 10. So, there you guys go. That is my top 10 favorite zombie films list. And like I said, if you want to do a response, please do so in the comments or make a video. That'd be awesome. So, thank you guys for watching this, and stay tuned for more videos. This is Rob. I'll see you guys next time.